Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Loyani, and in the previous video we used output to send the addToCart events from ProductGrid to the parent. Right now the handler just logs to the console. That's fine for testing, but in a real application we need to store the cart item somewhere that multiple components can access. As an example, in the future I would like to show how many items we have on the cart icon. So in this video, we will create a service, which is a central place to manage cart state using signals. So far, all our signals have lived inside components. That works great for local state, like the search term. But cart data is different. Two reasons push us towards a service. First, it's a shared state. The products page adds items, the header shows the item count, and eventually a cart page will also list everything. Multiple components need access to the same data. Second, for the business logic, when a user clicks on Add to Cart, the code needs to add an item to a shared cart state. We'll start with a simple first pass now, and in the next video we will upgrade this logic to merge repeated products and increase quantity. That logic doesn't belong in a component. Components should focus on displaying things and handling user interactions. A service solves both problems. It's a class that Angular creates once and shares across the application. It holds the state, it owns the logic, and it keeps our components clean and focused. So the key points for this video are: services are the standard way to share state and encapsulate business logic in Angular. For example, in the products grid, we have a list of products. Later, we're going to move this logic to retrieve the list of products also to a service. So again, our component can only focus on visual interactions. This way, the components stay thin. They delegate work to the service and display results. So let's create a service. We can generate it using Angular CLI, of course. So we will open the terminal and generate service cart/cart-service, or if you prefer, only G for generate as a shorthand and S for service. Nowadays, Angular doesn't add a service suffix anymore, as in the past we used to have ProductsGrid component, so this has been dropped. But sometimes I still like to use this suffix to differentiate that this is a service. Therefore, it's a class that's going to contain some business logic. This is a personal naming convention that I'm still carrying on even after Angular has dropped the suffix service. If you prefer, you can just create a cart. But in my case, I'll keep the service. So it has created the cart folder along with the cart service. So there are a few new things here. First, in a component, we have the component decorator. In a service, we have the injectable decorator. This means that we're going to be able to insert a service into other classes in Angular, such as component or even other services as well. We also have the providedIn root. This means that Angular creates a single instance for the whole application. Every class in Angular that is injectable and has the providedIn root, this means that it's following the pattern that we call singleton. Now, with the service created, what we're going to do is, first, we're going to create an array so we can store all the products that are within the cart. For this, we'll declare it as private. Private means that only the service itself can call the set and update of the signal, because of course this is going to be a signal. But private means that only this class will be able to access whatever property this is. In our case, it's going to be a signal. So cart items. And this is of course a signal. We're going to be typing this as an array of products because a cart can have multiple products. And because this is a writable signal, we're going to initialize without any cart items. That means that our array is going to be empty. Next, we're also going to add an addToCart method. And this method is going to receive a product. Because the idea here is that whenever we're clicking in the addToCart, we're going to be passing this product up to this service. And in this service, we'll have all the share state needed so we can manage our cart later. Inside this method, what we will do, we will update the cart items and add the product that has been passed to our method. So cart items, which is our signal, we're going to use the update because this is a writable signal. In this case, the update is going to take into consideration the existing items that are already in the cart, and we're going to be modifying this information. So we will use the spread operator so we can return each item that's already in the cart, and in addition to it, we're also going to add the product. Doing the above will do the same thing as doing something like a push, but a push doesn't usually modify the instance. In this case, we are returning a new instance. This is very important for Angular. We're going to be learning this later. As starting in the next version of Angular, Angular's default change strategy is going to be changed to on push. And doing things like this is very important, which we'll get into the details in a later video. So for this first pass, every click appends the product to the cart array. Return a brand new array with the spread syntax so we never mutate the existing state. And in a future video, we will replace this with a smarter merge increment rules so we have a more efficient carts page later. Next, let's replace the console log with the real service call. First things first, we have to declare this CartService in the ProductsGrid. Now, there are a few different ways that we can do this. This is called dependency injection. In Angular, we can have a constructor called ProductsGrid. In this case, we could declare a private CartService, and then we pass the type, which is CartService. And of course, we cannot forget to import this class. Because this is private, we'll also have to initialize it. In this case, we could pass the CartService, again, just naming this variable as a CartService, and we could do a CartService receives the CartService that is being passed here from the constructor. In this case, Angular is providing a CartService instance. The instance is going to be provided automatically by the application because we have the providedIn root here. So Angular will know that before instantiating an instance of the ProductsGrid, it will need an instance of CartService. We call this dependency injection in many languages and framework. So this is the classic or legacy way. Instead of spending 3 lines of code for doing this, Angular also has a modern way of doing this. And the way that we do this is private because we're only going to be using this service privately. If you plan to use your service in the HTML code, you can declare this as protected, of course. Read only because we're not changing the instance. And then I'll call CartService. And as part of the new Signal API, we also have this inject function. And the inject, we're going to be injecting a CartService instance like this. Personally, I think this is easier to read because the service is injectable. And here we're using the inject keyword, which is of course is also part of the Angular core. With this, we have a property that is declared already being injected with the instance of the service that we need. And with the service provided to us, what we can do is instead of the console log, we can do a CartService, addToCart, and we pass the product itself. And we can remove this console log. Or if you prefer, I'm just going to cut this for now, and I will move the console log to this service so we know that this is still working because we still don't have a badge being displayed in our UI. So to verify that this is working, we're going to go back to the browser. We're going to addToCart. If you take a look at what we have done in the last video, you'll see that this will show the ProductsGrid. And now it's showing the ProductsCart because the console log is coming from the line 12 from the cart service. So this means that our service is working. So in this video, we created a cart service with providedIn root for shared state. We started with a simple product signal for cart storage. We used the signal to store and update items, and we connected the service to the ProductsGrid component using the inject function. In the next video, we will display the cart item count in the application header using a badge. If you are enjoying the series or if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.